and good evening, everybody. I'm hoping you've managed to be able to join me for the Year 8 Parents' Evening presentation. I really wanted to take the opportunity to be able to, speak with you, because obviously with COVID, we're not being able to have those face-to-face conversations and those face-to-face presentations, just to really give me an opportunity to introduce myself and to go through really what we offer here from a pastoral point of view at Norton College. And then if you wanted to be able to, you can either email me or you could put something into the chat if you were able to. Any questions or queries that you've got regarding some of the things that I'm going to be going through. So first of all, I thought it would be really appropriate to be able to quickly introduce myself. Obviously, I'm Mrs. Edwards, the new Deputy Head at Norton College. That's not a particularly flattering picture of me, but I thought at least it's a start. And I am always a professional on the outside, but I just really wanted to share with you how I feel on the inside. And I picked this picture because I think it really sums it up, because it maybe looks a little bit scared and anxious, but at the same time, like, really excited, because that's truly how I feel to be here at Norton College, because it is a fantastic school and I see the immense potential that there is here. The staff are absolutely amazing and the students are, wonderful, and I'm really enjoying being here. So a bit of a background to me. I have worked in an inner city school in Hull for the last 8 years, but 6 years as an assistant head. And my role there was very similar to that what I do here, but I've also been a safeguarding lead in that school as well. Prior to that, actually, my background is PE, so I was actually the Director of Learning for Fitness, Health and Wellbeing at that school. But my actual background in teaching is initially actually as a PE teacher, but I also I have taught science for the last 5 years as well. A bit more about me, what motivates me, what inspires me. Well, anything to do with being outside, walking the countryside with the dog in particular, spending, I'm sure like yourselves, quality time with your family. And obviously being a PE teacher, I still get involved in a lot of sport, because I'm sure like you, finding ways to relax when you're working full time is a really important part of maintaining, good well-being. So I really wanted to speak to you about the pastoral support that we offer here. And I'm sure you're very much aware of who your child's progress leader is, but I thought I just wanted to address that because there have been a few changes. So it is still Mrs. Triffitt. She is the progress leader for your child. We also have, obviously, I'm sure you've had communication with Mrs. Blackburn before. She is the pastoral manager, so she oversees management of all the sort of non-teaching aspects of it, whereas Dress Triffitt, she picks up anything to do with academic progress. So really, if you ever have a concern, it's really important to know the differences between those two people, so we can direct any issues you have to the right person. So if it was anything within the social time, whether it's something to do with behaviour, whether it might be to do with the safeguarding concern, etc., you have, then put all those concerns through to Mrs. Blackburn for me, please. But if it is anything to do with the lessons, anything academic, progress, concerns you have, homework, please direct them through to Miss Triffitt. If you're unsure, it doesn't matter, because they work closely to one another, and that it will be communicated through to the right person. The changes we put a little bit in place this year is how the pastoral leaders work. They're not assigned to a particular year group. So we have a Key Stage 3 and a Key Stage 4. So for Key Stage 3, we have Laura Ollie and Donna Hugill, and they are the pastoral leaders that are designated to working with your child in Year 8. And there's really good reasons for this. It means that we've got, a range of expertise that are working alongside students, and that responsibility doesn't come down to one person, it's shared across. We also have Mrs. Barber. She is our designated safeguarding lead, so if anything of high concern would go through to her. And if it's anything to do with attendance, then it would be through to Mrs. Gilvan, and she is our attendance officer. But what is also really important is you. Not only the pastoral team, the backbone to the school, it's also you are very much a part of that backbone, because any successful school, we need really strong parent-school relationships, because not only does it make them feel more settled at school, it builds relationships between staff and parents. And if we're working together as a team, it has really positive effects on the outcomes for the children. And I know that through the experience that I've got. And obviously, we all have our strengths and we all have our responsibilities. And, together we're working to ensure that your child is successful at the school and that their learning has the greatest potential. So what I wanted to share with you is to make sure that you were very clear of the expectations, obviously, that we have here at Norton, and I'm sure you're all very much aware of them, but we're really trying to keep outlining these to the students, and so that they know exactly what those expectations are, because the last thing we want is for a child to fall short of those, and to be in some kind of trouble. I'd rather than be very aware of what's expected to start with, so we can avoid any of that. I'm just going to go to this one first. So those expectations there were about being polite, being proud, being prepared, being safe, being kind, and being punctual. Really basic expectations that we would expect of each other. What we've gone through is this week and prior, after October half term went through these expectations of the students, and we're doing that on a termly basis. So we keep coming back to the core things, and it's really important that we work together on this, that we are team Norton, because one of the things that really sold Norton College to me when I was looking at applying for here was that real family feel, and the fact as soon as you walk through the door that you feel that. But that only that family feel only stays if we work at that and we work consistently together. So we hold these expectations accountable of each other to make sure that we can maintain that family feel. So we're asking the students obviously to follow instructions, to be polite, to listen to each other, and to be patient. We want the students to be proud of the uniform that they're wearing. So it's just ensuring, please, that your son or your daughter has that blazer and it's with them every day and that they are wearing that. And we're really focusing in uniform at the moment at the top half. So we're really focusing on making sure we've got that blazer, we've got obviously our tie on, but we've got no facial piercings, we're only wearing studs, and makeup is discreet. They're our focuses at the moment. Coats, yes, they're allowed, them absolutely freezing at the moment, but they must have, please, their blazer underneath. There are no hoodies or shirts or these new shackets as a replacement. And we really absolutely do appreciate your support with that. Just making sure that they're prepared. We still have a few students, not so much in year 8, but with no bag, and it's really hard for them to be prepared for lessons if they haven't got a bag. So making sure they've got a bag, and in that bag there's their planner, they've got plenty of pens and pencils to get them through the day. And we also are moving now towards doing a lot of use of highlighters to improve with literacy and identifying key sort of words and terminology, so that would be useful too. Obviously, COVID hasn't left us, unfortunately, and with the increased variants, we're having to now wear masks not only in social spaces but in lessons too. And actually, the students have been fantastic with that, and they've really responded positively. But we also wanted to make sure that during breaks and lunches they are only going in designated areas, leaving the classroom quietly, and that if they notice anything around the school, whether it be equipment that's out of place, or it could be a bullying incident, that they report that. We're asking students to be kind, using kind words, being helpful, not to exclude people, so include everybody, being motivational and encourage each other, and be respectful to other people about their thoughts and feelings. And we keep coming back. We did anti-bullying week a couple of weeks ago, but respecting the fact that we are all different and we all have different thoughts and opinions, but being respectful of those. And then the last one was making sure that we're here to school every day, that we're on time, not only to the school day, but on time to the lessons as well. But again, going back, generally year 8 are absolutely fantastic at that. So, big praise goes out to your son or daughter with that. I just wanted to go back to the previous slide. Unlike the Key Stage 4, we obviously have students, 3 year groups coming down to lunch at break, coming down at break and lunch. So we do have a queuing system, and it's set up on a rota, so each week a different year group is let in first. And that is one, to make sure that we have enough space for the students in the canteen at break and lunch, but also is to ensure one, behaviour and the environment feel safe, because at times that can get very, very busy. So to reduce numbers in the queue, we've put the system in place. We do have a few students in year 8 that try to abuse that system and try to push in and try to get to the front. But just again, to go back and reminding them of what the reasons are for that system. And we do it fairly to make sure that it is on a rota. But they need to be wearing the blazer, otherwise they'll be asked to go to the back of the queue. We're asking them to have the cards ready. And what we do is let any students that are queuing or waiting outside to come in first. I feel that's only fair. We have restricted the space of use of break and lunch times just because of supervision. We need to make sure that we can actually supervise the space. So they are, because of the weather, only allowed on the yard or in the canteen at break and lunch. And we have got a number of students in year 8 that do abuse that, and we find them in spaces which are unsupervised, and we can't be secure in the knowledge of what they are doing, and that's at that time. So if you do a phone call home from the pastoral team about them being out of space or in the wrong spaces, that is the reasons for that. And we are issuing after school detentions because we need them to understand the importance of being in space which is supervised. We have allowed students to come out now of the canteen with hot food. It's one of the things that came out of our student voice, but we are monitoring the rubbish. But generally, it has been really good, actually, and students are being mindful and putting things in the bin. Okay, so I just wanted to give you, obviously, your child's already been through year 7. They know that system of rewards and sanctions already. Very little has changed in regards to that, but again, making sure that you are aware of the systems that are in place, because in every school we have good and we have bad behaviour, so we need a system to ensure that those students who are absolutely fantastic, brilliant in lessons are rewarded, and where we've got students not quite following those expectations, that there are sanctions in place to make sure we are preventing those that disruption to learning. So we have our reward system. You should be aware, if you've got access to Insight, which you would do, because obviously that's how you're getting on to the year 8 parents evening, that you can monitor the rewards that the students or your child is getting on a daily basis. We award 1 point, obviously, in lessons. We do 2 points if it's something where they've continued to behave or showed effort or tried hard or created maybe a fantastic piece of work. They might get 2 behaviour points. They might be nominated for a head teacher, hot chocolate with a head teacher, which is 5 points, or they might get head teacher weekly praise, which is 3. So we really do try to push that. We are now changed, so we wanted to challenge, really, I suppose, staff to giving out more recognition points on a weekly basis. So we've actually raised the certificate for myself. If they achieve 16 points in a week, they receive an additional certificate to recognise, how fantastic they've been. But to balance that, we also have our behaviour system as well. So that was our recognition system. As I said, we've got the 1 point for recognition, 2 for weekly praise, 5 for head teacher. Our challenge is that on a daily basis, staff are awarding at least 10 points a day and 50 points a week. Our balance, I talked about that balance, we really are aiming to be praising 90% of the time, and that we should only be looking at putting anything negative on the system at 10% of the time. That's our own measure, so we know that we're getting it right. The consequence system, you'll be aware of the charter breaks. We have a verbal warning, we have charter break 2, 3 and 4. If they get that charter break 4 for any particular reason, they will be removed from the class. We have had a number of students in year 8 that have reached that, and I'm sure you understand the reasons why it's important to remove that student from that situation, because they're disrupting learning, and as a consequence do get detention. And the big thing I want to draw your attention to is here at the bottom, in the middle, where it says accumulation of -8 points. Obviously, for each charter break, if they get a charter break 1, they get 1 point. If it's a charter break 4, they'd get 4 negative points. If they reach 8 negative points in a week, they will actually do it a full day in inclusion. And if it's a repeated inclusion, that inclusion would go through to 4:15. The reasons for that is because they need to see the fact that actually it's not just a day off school, there is another sanction that sits in place with that after school. And it's a much better deterrent. I don't want students in inclusion. I want them in lessons and want them engaging. We're doing everything we can to remove any barriers to keep them into lessons. And so when that structure's in place, that's where they need to be. And as it says about on the side about charter break 4s and any lateness as well, we are, if any student is late to school in the morning, we are issuing a break time detention at the moment, and that's working really successfully. It's massively reduced the number of students that are late to school, so I'm really pleased with the progress on that. So just a couple of things then really from me, and I tell you what, I've been absolutely amazed of how brilliant the students have been regarding mobile phones. I know it was decided already before I'd started that we would enforce a different rule regarding mobile phones, but you know, the students have responded really brilliantly, that we'd have very little issues from year 8 in particular regarding mobile phones. So I'm really pleased with how that's going. It's keeping them safe in school, it's keeping them focused on what they're here for. So thank you in regards to supporting with that. When we have had an issue with mobile phones coming out, again, parents have been really supportive in regards to us confiscating. I think we've only had maybe 1 or 2 instances in year 8 where a parent had to come and collect the phone because it's been on over 3 occasions. But again, thank you for that. Smoking and vaping, we don't have particular issues with smoking and vaping with students in year 8, but I've left this in because it's come to my attention that there are a few students being asked to carry vapes in school. We don't really have much smoking that goes on in school now, but vaping is becoming an increasing issue, and I just wanted to draw your attention to that. So it might be worth having a conversation with the child and to see whether they've ever been approached, and if you are aware of that, if you could get in touch with us. We're really trying to crack down on this and making sure that, you know, that any issues are removed from the school. So I really appreciate again your support. Attendance is huge priority for us at the moment. Obviously, impact of COVID, we can't help that. You know, if your child has got COVID like the rest of us, you know, you're not allowed to come to school. You know, we need to keep you isolated. We need to keep you safe. We need to keep everybody else safe. But outside of that, please can we try to send your child into school for, you know, every day. You know, if they're ill, please can you inform us of that reason why and potentially when they should be returning to school. You know, if it's a cold, you know, a cough, you know, obviously if it's not COVID, please send them in. You know, if they get to school and they are unwell, I promise you we will ring you and we will arrange a way of getting them home. But I really want to encourage you to send your child to school. We promise to look after them, but we really need them here to be able to have the greatest impact on their progress, especially as they've missed so much. You can see there that was attendance sort of towards the beginning of the year. It has dropped significantly year 8 since then. But a few pointers I wanted to put on there, like despite the pandemic last year, you know, we still actually had 35% of our students which had good attendance. It was 96% or over. So, you know, we can still achieve that even with that impact of COVID. And I know we're a long way off from year 8 in regards to GCSEs, but actually it's worth keeping it in mind that if our attendance drops below 90%, it actually reduces our chances of getting the 5 GCSEs at grade 5 and above by actually 20%. So it has a huge impact, just attendance on progress. So please send your child into school. I promise you we will look after them. And just be mindful of put there about holidays, because they're not authorised. We don't authorise any holidays in school time. So I know the prices rocket during holiday, you know, our term time allocated absences. So I ask you please, where you can, to book holidays during the time that's given for that. Those are the holiday terms. So I've just left that in there. That is in your child's planner. So if you ever, you know, and it is on our website as well, or you can get it on North Yorkshire website. So just to keep an eye on when students do need to be into school, that's really helpful. And I left that in just because I felt, you know, you've got your parent homeschool contract to make sure that that is signed in their planner, and just to check their planners regularly and sign their planners regularly, please. You know, I'm going to come on to a slide about homework, but just to monitor that for me, they should have their attendance and their behaviour also recorded into their planner. So again, it's just working together and regarding making sure they're using their planner for the purpose it's given. Uniform. I'm sure you're very much aware of what the uniform expectations are. I've already been through what our priority is, but I just wanted to bring this, you know, on here because it links into my last slide regarding uniform, because we're actually looking at maybe changing the uniform, and we're asking for parental input in regards to that, but I'll come to that at the end. And so the only bit I really want to draw your attention to is hoodies. Again, we don't seem to have an issue with that in year 8 at the moment. I know it's cold, but we do have a school jumper, so if they are getting cold, they can wear a school jumper underneath their blazer and then their coat over the top. But please, can we refrain from having any kind of hoodie or sweatshirt that isn't a school jumper, please, underneath. So I've already mentioned equipment, so just to check, make sure that they are fully equipped for lessons. That would be brilliant. Thank you so much. Home learning, they have a timetable put into their planner, so just to check in, and we have some feedback from parents regarding sometimes too much or too little homework. Please keep talking to us about that. If you feel your child's not getting the homework and you think they should be, please let us know, and that would be straight through to Mrs. Triffitt, and she will chase that up for me. If you feel that they're getting too much, again, let us know. You know, especially it might be in one particular area, but we don't want your child to feel overwhelmed at any point, so please do keep communicating with us. Any safeguarding issues, so if, for instance, your child experience might be to do something online bullying, it might be something that they've seen at school or they've heard at school, something they're worried about, you know, please report any concerns to Mrs. Barber, or it could be to any of the pastoral leaders that I referred to at the start of the presentation. In regards to, you know, bullying, we have an anti-bullying charter. You know, it is not tolerated in the school, and there are really high sanctions for any bullying. I did a couple of student voices and a staff voice, and I was really pleased to hear that students and the staff don't believe there are bullying issues within the school, and in general, you know, they feel that you know, it is a kind school, which is great to hear. But there are still instances of that, and we need to know about them so we can deal with it. And I've left that image in there as well, because we often get a lot of people saying that there is bullying going on, but I just want you to be clear on what the differences are between conflict and bullying, because on a daily basis we deal with conflict, but bullying, where there's an imbalance of power and it's one-sided, or it's happening repeatedly, or it is intentional, and that the person shows no remorse and doesn't attempt to stop, that is when it becomes bullying. You know, we deal with a lot of conflict on a daily basis, but very little bullying. So it's just making sure that you, and I suppose your child, are very aware of the differences between those two things, that we can deal with them accordingly. And second to last slide is just a reminder about COVID again. The students have been absolutely fantastic about wearing their masks. We have, you know, a system in school about keeping to the left on corridors, again trying to keep that distance between students. We have plenty of hand sanitizer around the school, and just keep asking you to keep testing at home, and if you know, are running out of testing kits, just let us know, and we can see if we can get some more provided for you. But again, thank you for your support with that. The last thing from me then is about our Parental Forum. Twice yearly we hold a Parental Forum where we get together and we discuss about maybe issues in the school. It might be something we're intending to do. We might look at something that in past and evaluating something, but I can't tell you how important it is to make sure that we have parents involved with the decisions that are made within the school, because you always see things from a different point of view to us. And unless we hear from you, then, you know, we're only guessing from your point of view. Some of you that are joining me tonight might already be on the Parental Forum, but if you're not and it's something you would be keen to do, please drop me an email. Mine's ced@nortoncollege.net, and I would be really interested for you to come and join us at our next meeting. I'm planning it to be the beginning of February or right at the end of this month, and I would let you know when it is. And the reason I'm asking that is that we're going to be reviewing at the next meeting uniform and rewards. I'm very clear about some of the issues that parents have with the uniform. It's quite expensive. The skirts really aren't fit for purpose for the girls. The trousers are very out of date and unfashionable and uncomfortable for a long periods of time. Sometimes it's quite difficult to get alternatives. So I really want to strip it back and have a look about what would be best for the uniform moving forward. And as a parent, your input on that is really, really important. And from the rewards point of view, the students collect obviously points, but it's giving purpose and meaning to those points. So I really want to look at maybe putting some better incentives together, maybe a school shop or something like that, to really motivate students into achieving more points and having a purpose to that. So again, I'd be really interested in your point of view. I'm going to be doing exactly the same with students in school and with staff in school, and then collectively come together with some kind of agreement. So again, if you're interested in that, I'd really love to hear from you. It's cd@nortoncollege.net. Obviously, you can get in touch with me through the school website as well in regards to that. And if there's anything that I've discussed tonight that you are unsure about or didn't know about or concerned about, please get in touch and I'll be really happy to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope that you have a very positive parents' evening tonight. I know we've got staff who've been very busy going through assessments and looking at books, etc., to making sure that they've got really purposeful conversations to have with you tonight. So enjoy, and I look forward to speaking to you when we can actually get together and have a face-to-face conversation. Thanks very much. Bye.